The FedLife podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a fiduciary, fee-based financial planning firm serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our hosts are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of Raymond James. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. And now, here are your hosts. Dan Sipe serves as a branch manager for Raymond James Financial Services and Serving Those Who Serve. Ed Zerndorfer is our guest and federal benefits expert in the space.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the FedLife Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Sipe. Additionally, I'm the branch manager here at Serving Those Who Serve and Lee Sipe and Associates. I'm going to begin, as I always do, by saying thank you. Thank you for taking the time to join us today, but also thank you for your service to the government, to the country, to me, to everyone. You don't hear that enough. You're always going to hear it here, especially. And again, podcasts are not supposed to exist within time and space. We're recording this on day one of the first federal shutdown in 7 years. So if you've listened to our podcast, you know where I come down on this. This was never meant to be a lever of government. So, okay, everyone, you just showed everybody that you're serious, and now the government shut down. Now, please get to work and negotiate and get to the next place and stop hurting our feds. So, getting away from hurting feds to helping feds, nobody has helped feds more than our guru, the Ed Zerndorfer. He's back with us once again as part of the ongoing mission to reach, teach, and serve you. Once again, we follow Ed's Fed Zone articles, so you probably should pop over to the Fed Zone because we amplify 2 of them, and he's got one every single week. But this is one more way that we can reach and teach. So today, we are tackling a question that I get all the time from federal employees. If I can't max out both my Roth TSP and my Roth IRA, which one should I prioritize? Ed has a great breakdown of the advantages on each. So Ed, let's start with the basics. Now, this surprised me. I got to admit it, that we're up to 93% of 401ks have Roth options now.
Yes, the Roth option started back actually in 2006. The Pension Protection Act of 2006 created Roth 401k plans, and the TSP added that option. The Roth TSP started, I believe, in 2012. It's been around time.
Okay.
So, and that the 93% of plans now do offer the Roth option. There are some plans that do not. I'm going to be talking about that at the very end because we have some late-breaking news in terms of Roth catch-up contributions that are going to start next year. Got some news,
absolutely.
Like an update. So I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later.
Absolutely. So what's the fundamental tax advantage of any Roth?
We're talking Roth TSP, the Roth IRA. The advantage of contributing to a Roth IRA, Roth TSP is the fact that when you contribute to either one, yes, you're using after-tax money. Money going in has already been taxed. It goes into a retirement account. As you know, retirement accounts, depending on how they're invested, accrue earnings. Those earnings with a traditional account are growing tax deferred. What do I mean by that? You don't pay tax. You don't pay tax on those earnings you get like you do. Let's say if you had a brokerage account, you have invested a stock, an individual stock, it pays dividends. You have to pay tax on the dividends. Well, with the retirement account, with a traditional retirement account, like traditional IRA, traditional TSP, money, your accrued earnings, and the earnings are not going to be taxed until they're withdrawn. Well, the Roth account, Roth IRA, Roth TSP, also accrued earnings, but when the earnings are withdrawn together with the contributions already been taxed with the Roth account. We know that. So they certainly will not be taxed when they're withdrawn. But it's the earnings that, when withdrawn from a Roth account after age 59 and a half, and it's been at least 5 years since you made your very first Roth contribution, the earnings will not be taxed.
Gotcha.
So the tax break, again, the tax advantage here comes with the Roth is on the back end when you take the money out. With the traditional account, the tax break, traditional TSP, is on the front end. You get a deduction. You're able to deduct your contributions to the Roth to the traditional TSP. The contributions are coming from your gross salary before any taxes are taken out. But then you'll pay the tax when you take the money out of the traditional TSP.
Gotcha. Now, we know with any good thing, there are always rules and stipulations. So there are contribution limits, right?
Yes. IRAs in general have contribution limits every year. And qualified retirement plans, the TSP, have contribution limits each year. So for 2025, let's start there. If one wants to contribute to an IRA, traditional IRA or Roth IRA or both, the contribution limit is $7,000. $7,000 if you are under age 50 this year. If you're under age 50, you're under age 50 as of December 31st, 2025. If you're going to be over age 49 as of December 31st, 2025, your IRA contributions, if you want to put it all into a Roth, is $8,000. $8,000.
Gotcha.
With the TSP, because you also can contribute both to the traditional TSP and to the Roth TSP. You can do both, but your total contributions this year, it's a little bit more complicated, with the TSP this year, is that if you're under age 50 as of December 31st, 2025, your maximum contribution to the traditional and Roth TSP cannot exceed $23,500. $23,500. If you're going to be between age 50 and 59 as of December 31st, 2025, or you're going to be over age 63 as of December 31st, 2025, your maximum catch-up contribution is $7,500.
Gotcha.
Now, what is this over 64? Well,
I sense there's a group in the middle there, Ed.
One of the provisions coming out of Secure Act 2.0, and boy, a lot of provisions came out of Secure Act 2.0, which came out in 2022, is that starting this year, January 1st, 2025, those individuals who are covered by a qualified retirement plan, 401k plan, 403b plan, 457 plan, and the TSP, if they're going to be this year age 60, 61, 62, or 63, in plain English, that means if anybody out there who is a federal employee who was born between January 1st, 1965 and December 31st, 1968, you can put $34,750. Your catch up is now $11,250. It's the $7,500 plus another $3,250 added for a total catch up contribution of $11,250, which makes your total contribution for this year $23,500, $34,750. And the same thing will be true next year. Okay.
For that one tiny special group. I'm moving on. I'm not going to grumble about it because I don't know. I know a couple of folks that, shall we say, are Medicare age or older and still working. So, but that's fine. They did that for whatever reasons. So, yep. Ed, you dive into the comparison and you say Roth IRAs have some distinct advantages. First one you talk about is investment choices. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. Roth IRAs, you have unlimited investment choices. You could invest your Roth IRA in a bank account, a savings account. You can put into a CD. You can buy individual stocks within your Roth IRA account. You can open-ended funds, close-ended funds. These are different types of investment. Exchange-traded funds. You have unlimited choices here when it comes to investments for a Roth IRA. Roth IRA. Roth TSP, you're limited. How so? You have 5 core funds, the 3 stock funds, the C fund, the S fund, the I fund. And you have 2 bond funds, the F fund and the G fund. You have the life cycle funds, which are combinations of the 5 core funds. I think there are 10 life cycle funds, starting with L 2025 and L income all the way out to L 2070, I believe it is, every year. There are 10 of them. And then you have what's called the mutual fund window, which is, I think there's 3,000 funds in there, which I just want to mention, the expenses associated with these funds are higher. Also, they really have not been vetted. You're on your own. One of the real good things about the TSP, the 5 core funds and the life cycle funds, number one, are the low expenses and the fact that they're well managed and so on. You can really sleep at night knowing that you got some safe. I like to use the word safe, but again, dependable investments.
Yep.
Out there.
They're well designed. Now, next one up here, Ed, I think is really going to surprise a lot of our feds, where you share that Roth IRA contributions are always available for withdrawal without penalty, even before 59.5. How does that work?
Yes. Let's remember again that Roth IRA contributions are made with after-tax dollars. And they can be withdrawn at any time, no penalty. Now, I just want to be a little careful here about that, no penalty, because if one is investing their Roth IRA, let's say in a brokerage account, they work with a brokerage. The brokerage is investing the money. There might be charges if you withdraw the contribution. There might be some charges, no penalty, no taxes, but there might be charges. Dan, I know you got more experience than I do. And maybe with surrender charges possible with an IRA, if you take money out too soon, including the contributions, would happen if you say you had a brokerage account and invested in Roth IRA?
Meaning a surrender charge per se? If you could potentially, depending on the brokerage, you could have a fee for closing the account out.
Yep.
But generally not related to a specific withdrawal.
Okay. Just wanted to check that out. So with the Roth IRA, you can specifically say that you want to have just your contributions withdrawn. Leave the earnings there. Because the earnings cannot be taken out without penalty until after age 59 and a half. But the contributions can stay there. Contributions can be withdrawn anytime with no tax penalty, no IRS penalties, no tax consequences.
Gotcha. Now, Ed, your article then goes into qualified distributions, and we've got some rules there. We've got some 5-year rules, and they're not exactly the same for IRAs and TSP, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Let's go over the 5-year rule for Roth IRAs. In order to make tax-free, penalty-free withdrawals from a Roth IRA, and we're talking about taking the contributions and earnings out, there are 2 requirements. One has to be over 59 and a half. 2, it has to be at least 5 years since January 1st of the year that the Roth IRA owner made his or her first contribution, or when the Roth IRA owner, January 1st of the year that the Roth IRA owner made his or her first conversion of a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. It's one, it has either one. Now, Dan, the Roth IRA has been around since 1998.
Sure.
And conversions have been around. You've been allowed to convert traditional IRAs to Roth IRAs since then. Although there were some restrictions until 2010. I think but until 2010, if your adjusted gross income was over $100,000, you weren't allowed to convert a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. That's no longer the case. With the Roth TSP, it's a little bit different. For a Roth TSP, somewhat different. In order to take money out of the Roth TSP and not have to pay tax on the earnings nor penalty, again, two requirements. One, the Roth TSP account owner has to be over 59 and a half. Two, it has to be at least 5 years since January 1st of the year that the Roth TSP participant made his or her first Roth TSP contribution. The Roth TSP has not been around, the Roth TSP has been around since 2012. So let's say somebody made their first, let's say somebody's going to retire this year on December 31st, 2025, and they're 60 years old. So they're over 59 and a half, and they have a Roth TSP account.
Yep.
So this person, until I actually know someone, asked me, when I retire on December 31st, 2025, I'll be over 59 and a half, and I had this Roth TSP account. I really want to start taking money in my Roth TSP. I'm saying, all right, I think you're better off taking the traditional TSP, but, leaving that Roth TSP account. But no, he wants to take it out. So then I said, let me ask you a question. When did you make your first Roth TSP contribution? He said, yeah, it was July 2023. July 2023. Made his very first Roth TSP contribution. I said, all right, let's evaluate this. You made your very first Roth TSP contribution in 2023. Go back January 1st. That's January 1st, 2023. Go forward 5 years. What does that bring you up to? January 1st, 2028. When you retire on December 31st, 2025, you want to immediately take money out of your TSP, money out of your Roth TSP? Yeah, I want to. I said, you'll start taking money out in January 2026. Yeah, that's my intent. I said, you're going to pay tax on the earnings. He says, why? It's the Roth TSP. I said, you're over 59 and a half, but it has been 5 years until since the year you made your very first, January 1st of the year, you made your first Roth TSP contribution. Oh, you can take it out, but you're going to have to pay tax on the earnings. He said, what am I going to do then? I said, you wait until January 1st, 2028. In the meantime, take money out of your traditional TSP.
Gotcha.
Now, I just want to mention something else about the Roth TSP, about the 5-year rule. The TSP allows TSP participants to directly roll over traditional IRAs to the traditional TSP, traditional 401k plans, traditional 403b plans into the traditional TSP. If someone worked in private industry, we talked earlier about how many companies have Roth 401ks. Somebody worked in private industry and the company had a Roth 401k, and then they came to federal service. They had federal service, and they could have rolled over their Roth 401k plan into a Roth TSP, but they didn't. They just kept it there. They liked the management of the company. They just want to keep it there. All right. So now comes time that they retire from federal service. They want to take money. They want to take money out of their Roth accounts. Unlike the Roth IRA, where it's only that first year. If you have Roth qualified retirement accounts, each account has its own separate 5-year rule. It has its own separate 5-year rule that has to be fulfilled. Okay. So I want to make that the distinction between the Roth IRA and Roth IRA versus the Roth TSP and Roth accounts.
Now, your article goes on to discuss two terms that most people aren't going to be familiar with, and that is ordering rules for Roth IRAs and pro rata rules for Roth TSP. This sounds important. What's the difference?
Yeah. Well, just go check my notes here about that to make sure I get, because it's a little technical. It's a little technical.
Sure.
All right. Roth IRA distributions Roth IRA distributions that do not meet the conditions for a qualified distribution are subject to favorable ordering rules. What I mean by that is the following. If someone has a Roth IRA and it's been less than 5 years since January 1st of the year they made their first Roth IRA contribution, then they would be allowed to withdraw portions of the Roth IRA, namely we mentioned earlier, the contributions were made with after-tax dollars. So under the ordering rules, they would be allowed to just withdraw the contributions, and then the earnings would not be taxed, because they're going to stay in there. Roth TSP, no such thing. When you take money out of the Roth TSP, they take out the TSP will take out the contributions to earnings. And again, if you're under 59.5, you're going to pay a 10% withdrawal penalty and pay tax on the earnings. So in that sense, Roth IRAs have, it's a little more favorable if they take the money out. But I want to make a service announcement here. Please leave your Roth accounts alone as long as possible. Don't use it as a means of paying your expenses. It just bothers me when
let it grow.
When employees use their retirement accounts, especially Roth, as say savings accounts, take money out. It's there to grow.
Yep, especially the Roth.
Especially the Roth, because now with the new rules, another provision that came out of the Secure Act 2.0, as of January 1st, 2024. The Roth TSP never has to be withdrawn. It's not subject to required minimum distributions. And this Roth TSP can be a source of such income, when needed in retirement. We just did a long-term care webinar, a few weeks ago. And people were saying, I can't afford long-term care insurance. It's too expensive. I don't qualify for it. What do I do? I said, well, use your Roth TSP as a means of paying for future long-term care.
Absolutely.
Because it's not subject to required minimum distributions. You can leave it. You can just leave it. It keeps growing. Tax-free compounded growth over time. But the beauty is, if you need it, it'll be there. Take the whole thing out, not pay any tax to pay for your nursing home care.
Yep. That's powerful stuff. So let's flip now and look at advantages for Roth TSP. You mentioned creditor protections. So how significant is that difference?
Yeah. If the Roth TSP is if a Roth TSP participant is the subject of a lawsuit, Roth TSP is off limits. The Roth TSP is protected from lawsuits. They can't come after you. They can't come after you. Take money out of your Roth TSP account to settle the lawsuit. But by contrast, a Roth IRA owner their account could be subject to creditors depending on what state they live in. It depends on state law as far as whether Roth IRAs can be subject to a lawsuit. So you have to check with your state. But
Gotcha.
Roth TSP can never be subject to creditors in case the participant is subject, the Roth TSP account owner is subject of a lawsuit. I say I get this question from someone, I'm thinking about rolling over my Roth TSP to a Roth IRA because I like the investment choices. I said, the person, is there any downside? Well, I hate to ask you this question. Are you possibly the subject of any lawsuits? Oh, yeah. I said, don't do it. If you know you're going to be subject to a lawsuit whenever, maybe we don't know, but I'm just saying there's a possibility. A person could be subject to a lawsuit. I said, don't touch the TSP. Leave it there, the Roth TSP. Don't roll into a Roth IRA because depending on what state you live in, you could lose your entire Roth IRA.
Got it. Now, as we progress, Ed, this is something you already touched on a little bit earlier. TSP has institutionally low fees, so that can add up over time. But the next one that you go to is something that folks might not think a lot about, and that is that Roth TSP can actually allow a loan when a Roth IRA doesn't. How important do you really think that feature is?
I guess if you have no other means of borrowing money, I guess it's okay. I'm not a big fan of using one's retirement account as a bank. Okay.
I'm with you.
Yeah, the TSP gives out loans. And if you have to borrow from your TSP account, use the traditional TSP. Use the reducing traditional TSP. Leave the Roth account alone.
Sure.
Let it, as I said a few moments ago, let it grow. Don't touch it.
Agree. Agree.
Roth IRAs do not allow loans. If you borrow against your Roth IRA, it'll be closed.
Gotcha. And now this next one, boy, do feds miss this all the time, and it hurts my heart. Okay, and we're always teaching. Okay, so we have the part ones, which are the webinars, and we have the part twos where we're doing the individual benefits education for people. And always ask questions. Notice you're not in the Roth TSP. Oh, I make too much money. There are no income limits, right?
There are no income limits for contributing to the Roth TSP. There are income limits for contributing to a Roth IRA. There always have been. In 2025, if you want to contribute to a Roth IRA, the full amount, if you file as single and your adjusted gross income is over $165,000, you're not allowed to contribute to a Roth IRA. If you file as married filing jointly and your adjusted gross income is over $246,000, neither you nor your spouse can contribute to the Roth IRA. If you file as married filing separately, you don't want to know. The limit is $10,000. That's the Roth IRA. Roth TSP, no such income limitations. Whether your income is $5,000 a year or $50 million a year, if you are in federal service, you always are allowed to contribute to the Roth TSP.
Huge advantage and a game changer for higher earning feds. Now, next in your article, you mentioned something exciting, but folks are going to have to be in position. And that is that starting after December 31st of this year, federal employees will be able to convert traditional TSP to Roth TSP within the plan. Correct?
That is correct. Another provision came out of Secure Act 2.0 in 2022. This is going to start as of January 1st, 2026, that if an employee is enrolled in a qualified retirement plan that offers both the traditional option and the Roth option, and like the TSP, starting January 1st, 2026, federal employee, and I probably a federal retiree. I'm not sure about retiree yet. I haven't heard anything about the federal retiree, but let's say employees for the time being will be allowed to convert a portion of their traditional TSP account to the Roth TSP account. It's going to start this year. Is this for everybody? Probably not. We're going to be talking a lot about this when the TSP comes out with all the rules in terms of how it's going to work. I'll be writing it up, of course, in the Fed Zone. I'm sharpening my pencils right now to get ready for that. Okay, just waiting for the information. But let me just say this. This is not for every federal employee. There are certain issues you have to consider here when you convert that traditional TSP to Roth TSP. And probably the most important issue is you, the TSP account owner, TSP participant, has to pay tax, federal and state tax, if you live in a state, up front.
Yep.
when you convert.
Right then, right there.
Right then. And what rate? Well, it depends on your marginal tax bracket. The TSP will not withhold federal taxes. They never withhold state taxes. You're responsible for the state taxes. But when you convert a portion of your traditional TSP account, let's say you converted $100,000 of your traditional TSP to the Roth TSP, and you are in a 22% federal marginal tax bracket, that means you owe $22,000 of federal income tax that the TSP is not going to withhold.
Gotcha.
But it's not quite that simple, Dan, because that $100,000, when it's converted, is added to your other taxable income for the year, which could push you into a higher marginal tax bracket, not 24%, maybe 32%. We always say that anybody converts a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. Two requirements. Remember the tax consequences. Number two, have enough liquid savings.
Absolutely. 100%.
Paying the federal and state tax. Have a meeting with your accountant to go over it, to see if it's appropriate for you. If you're going to be able to do this, it's not for everyone. We'll try to put out as much information as possible.
Absolutely.
Attend our webinars. We're going to be going through it. Believe me, we have TSP webinars every month, and and that'll be definitely included starting in January.
Okay.
The other thing I want to mention about this change, I just want to mention about another thing that's going to happen. I just finished a Fed Zone column. It's going to be out probably in a couple of weeks. About starting January 1st, 2026, the IRS just made this announcement that high-income individuals, starting next year, their catch-up contributions have to be into the Roth account. They cannot not go into traditional account. Now, what's high income? The IRS is going to define that. But this change was supposed to have happened. On January 1st, 2024. But the IRS said we have to delay it because you got to get some rules and regulations. They did mention what high income is, high wage income. If one's Social Security wages is $145,000 or more, it'll probably be $150,000 for next year. If one's Social Security wages in 2025 is $150,000 or more, your contributions when it comes to the Roth have to go to the Roth TSP to the TSP. Have to go to the Roth TSP. You cannot put into the traditional. I know what some high wagers are going to say, oh my God, that's not good. I'm a high wager. I'm paying a lot of taxes. I'd rather put it into the traditional TSP, those catch-up contributions.
Yep.
Can't do it.
Yeah. No, some people are going to get introduced to Roth TSP as a result of that.
I just want to mention that we've mentioned that 93% of the qualified retirement plans do have the Roth option. What about the 7% that do not? What's going to happen to those people? If you are a high wage earner, and your company does not offer the Roth option, well, the IRS has an answer for you. You can't make catch-up contributions then.
Boy, I see that ended up in the courts, Ed.
I don't know about that.
I can feel a class action lawsuit bubbling up.
Well, I think
around that one.
The courts are really busy right now. A lot of other issues, but anyhow, as I say, I wrote up to the Fed Zone. It'll be submitted this week, and they'll probably be out. My guess probably next week. I'm reading about this new option, about this mandatory Roth TSP contribution for catch-up contributions with other stuff in there.
Okay, all right. Well, the moment has arrived, Ed. Drum roll, please. As far as what's your baseline recommendation for somebody who's trying to decide between maximizing Roth TSP or starting Roth IRA? Drum roll. What is it?
I would say maximize Roth TSP. I say it for two reasons. Number one, it makes no difference what your income is. you're allowed in TSP. Second reason, when and only when can you contribute to the Roth TSP?
While you're working.
While you're an employee. If you leave federal service, Dan, would you be able to contribute to a Roth IRA?
Roth IRA, yes. Roth TSP, no.
Yeah, because you get a job. You got a part-time job.
Yep.
You can, like this year, $8,000, $7,000, $8,000. You can contribute to the Roth IRA, the lower of $7,000 or $8,000 or your earned income. So if you get a job, paying $10,000, something like that, you still can put in the full maximum to the Roth IRA. Your adjuster gross income probably low than you'll be allowed to do that. So that's why the Roth TSP is first. That has the highest priority.
Gotcha. Absolutely. So, Ed, as per usual, you've laid out a comprehensive comparison. Folks, you're not going to find this stuff anywhere else. So please be sure to hit the Fed Zone to read the article itself, because he always has a lot of great little details and features within that. And once again, Ed, on behalf of all the Feds out there, this type of detailed comparison really helps them make informed decisions. Nobody else is breaking it down this way. So thank you
My
for
pleasure.
doing that for them. And thanks for doing it with us.
Thank you.
Folks, that is a wrap. We are serving those who serve. So be sure, hit that subscribe button on this podcast, whether it's YouTube or Spotify, and remember to share it with your friends and even a few strangers. Don't forget our live webinars every single week. Head over to swserve.com. You'll see the webinar button. Click it. You're going to see the whole menu. The guru will come to you, reach you where you are, teach you where you are, and serve you where you are. Sign up for one, sign up for all. Share it with your friends. I promise you they'll thank you. Be sure to read Ed every single week in the Fed Zone. That's fed-zone.com. We amplified 2 of those articles, which means there are 2, sometimes 3 other ones. They're dynamite. You don't want to miss them. So closing out for Ed, the crew at Serving Those Who Serve, and me, Dan Sipe, I'm going to sign off as I always do by saying, good luck, Godspeed, and above all, please remember, it is your Fed life. Make it a great one because you deserve it. Stay well, everybody. We are out.